Hey everybody, Mike Iaconelli back out here in the shop, and I want to talk to you about a special lure that I helped design for Berkeley called a Jester. I'm going to talk to you about 6 different rigging methods with just this one bait. 6 rigging methods for this one lure. When you look at the Jester, it's pretty unique. And it is what I would call a hybrid style lure. It's part crawl, part creature, part beaver style lure. It's got a lot of appendages that you can modify on the fly. If you look at it, small little ribbed, compact body. It's got 2 of these devil spear style appendages, legs on it that provide kick. And then of course you've got these side arms and these big, giant bubbled feelers at the bottom. So this is a bait that you can rig a lot of different ways. So let's do it one by one, and I'll show you the 6 rigging methods for this Jester. Okay, rigging method number 1 is the good old standard Texas rig. I like to use a 3/8 to 1/2 ounce VMC tungsten weight, a 3/0 VMC hook, and I'm just going to do my normal standard Texas rig. I'm going to go in the nose of that bait. And when I rig it, I want to make sure that the bait is rigged horizontally. So I want the bait flat, looking just like that. It goes in and out of cover really well, and it's got that nice defensive position when it stands on the bottom. So rigging number 1 is the standard Texas rig. Number 2 is the Jester as a topwater lure. And when the fish are feeding on top, whether it's an insect, a cicada, a bug, a little mouse, when they're feeding on the surface, the Jester's a great bait. It's got a lot of buoyancy to it. And all I'm going to do is take a swim bait screw lock style hook. This is a 3/0 VMC heavy duty swim bait hook, weightless. And I go in the nose with that corkscrew, and I'm going to go straight into the nose of the bait. Look at that, just corkscrewing it down all the way to the nose. Once again, I like this bait rigged horizontally on this system, so it's flat. Do my normal Texas rig. See how those ribs hide that hook too? It's really cool. And I just fish this thing on the surface. I reel it on the top. These little devil spears arms, they capture water and they undulate, and these little arms kick a lot of surface commotion. So Jester rigged as a topwater lure. Method number 3 is on a wobble head, and these are known as articulated jig heads. This is a VMC swinging rugby, so it's a free-flowing hook. Once again, I just do a regular Texas rig. I like the 3/0 style. I'll go in, push it out. Once again, the bait's horizontal, gives it its maximum action when it's rigged horizontally. And now you see this one, I'm actually going to reel along the bottom. And when you reel it, look at the side-to-side motion. The legs are kicking, the arms are kicking, these little feelers, and it's articulated. So it's going to have a side-to-side motion. Rigging method number 4 is probably the hottest new rigging method around. You know what this is, guys. The Tokyo rig. And the Jester is amazing on a Tokyo rig. This is a 3/0 VMC extra wide gap hook. Once again, normal Texas rig. Going to go around, keep the bait horizontal, and look at this. Weights on the bottom, the bait's above the weight. Look at all that rotation. Side to side, keeping the bait off the bottom in place. The Tokyo rig. And then the last 2 are the Jester as a trailer. Now when I rig it for the trailer, I'm going to do a couple modifications. For the first rigging method, I'm going to rig it on a vibration jig, a chatterbait style lure. This is a Mullex Lover, and this is the first one where I'm going to start modifying the bait. What I like to do on this one is I like to pull off those 2 antennae. I'll get them off of there. I'm going to pull off these little side arms. I want to make this bait a lot more streamlined. Pull them things off. And now when I rig it on a vibrating jig, I'm going to rig it sideways. Not flat, but sideways. So I'm going to rig it to where the hook point comes out of the side of the bait. Okay? So now it's sitting on its side. It's not sitting flat. And look at the profile of that thing on a vibrating jig. Look at those two tails. So as this bait shakes and moves, you can imagine what those Jester tails are going to do. And last but not least, I like to rig it as a jig trailer. For this one, I'm going to leave the bottom antenna, but I'm going to pull off the side appendages. I'm going to get rid of all those. And then if you look at the top of the bait, it's got just the top section before the ribs start. And when I rig it as a jig trailer, I'm going to cut off that head section to make a little flatter mounting spot. And then I'm going to rig it normal flat up and down, just like we did the Texas rig style. And I'm threading it on that jig. Look at this. This is a missile jig, 1/2 ounce flip out. And watch what it looks like. Just like a crawfish. Crawfish have 2 pincers, right? Plus the antenna. Look how natural that looks. With 2 claws. Left and right claw with the antenna in the middle. So the Berkley Powerbait Jester as a jig trailer. And there you have it, the Berkley Powerbait Jester. It's a super versatile bait. Give it a try. Rig it in one of these 6 methods. Texas rig, top water, swing jig, Tokyo style, on the back of a vibrating jig, and on the back of a traditional jig. Give it a try. It's going to have action like no other bait you fish. Mike Iaconelli talking about the Jester out here in the shop.